fearless pioneer.
Yo, what is going on, guys? EJ here, bringing another Lord of the Rings Rise to War video. Today, guys, is the video that I've been talking about for a while. I know it is highly due and anticipated. It is Eowyn. We're going over her as a whole. We're going to be looking at troop setups for her, the best opinion, in my opinion, I should say, of her skill building, as well as some big PvP battles and stuff like that. So let's get into it, shall we? So we're going to go to our commanders right here. We have Eowyn. First off, we're just going to talk about her. I have her Respect 13 at the moment. This is very, very, very useful. She is also one of the easier characters to unlock her special equipment as well, the Rohan's Refuge. Now, she will have a max of 75 for command, and I have some pretty good gear on her. I'm going to show you. So, with the kind of gear with her, because she works very good with mounted, you want to have gear that is going to increase your might as well as speed. Now, as you can see, I'm using this cutlass here, which increases my might, speed, and arming attack melee, because you'll be using a full melee setup with her. Now, you could have a different setup as well when we go to troop setups as well, but if you want to have full stun and everything like that, this is the best way to go. So, for the first 4 rounds, allied commander physical damage ignores 30% of the target's defense, so that's very useful. Then you can see with my armor, it increases my might. Focus we don't really care too much about, but it does give a buff to army defense melee by 15%, or 15 points I should say, sorry, and we get a buff of 18 might extra as well. Next, we have a helmet here, which reduces the amount of damage received by mounted units, and also mounted units get 15% extra army defense, as well as our commander might and speed is buffed. Then we have our Rohan's Refuge. If you don't have this unlocked, a good substitute would be something like a Hif lane, like I have on my Theoden here. I used to use one of these before I unlocked this, because this is extremely good. And the reason why I stick with all man units instead of using bow knights in this video, which would have been very useful, I just wanted that extra plus 16 defense as well. And as you can see, for the first 4 rounds, melee units ranged and damage received minus 5%. Alright, now with skilling, I'm going to show you my main skill builds that I do. So let me reset this here. That was not her build, by the way. I was doing some things earlier. Hashtag 69 in the video if you get to this point, lol. 69 skill points. So, the first thing you want to be putting points in... Okay, well, first off, Respect 5 is an absolute must for Eowyn. But Respect 5 on a Tier 1 commander is pretty easy to obtain, especially if you've been playing quite a while. White Lady, first off, you want to max this completely. Now, as you will see, the max effect of this is mounted units gain stun immunity, which is very, very, very useful. The next thing you want to do is Frontline Rescue, which on round 3, all melee units recover 300% HP. Now, this is the one reason why I don't use Bow Knights, because they're a ranged and not melee, so they're not going to get that healing on round 3, which is a very big round when versing a Witchking, because he would have taken a lot of damage in the first 2 rounds. You then want to go into Nobility, another reason why I don't use Bow Knights, because we want to use all manish units. We're going to get plus 21% extra damage on all 3 of our troops. Then you want to move on here to our Rohirrim, which, as you can see, mounted units damage is buffed to an absolute max, including a maximum level effect of might, plus 15. I tried to say both of them at the same time, lol. Yeah, and as you can see, we're going to get a 9.6% increase of damage, and it's modified by your speed stat, and stacked up to 3 times. The next thing you want to look at, definitely put points into, is your Riding Excellent. This is going to give you a reduction of 14% damage received when you're using your mounted units. And then the next thing you want to use is Dernhelm, which is going to increase Eowyn's damage dealt, as you can now see, by 20% with a level effect of normal attack damage plus 20%. Now, for the last skill points, you can either choose which one you want here. You can use Cripple, which against one enemy target deals a certain amount of physical damage and greatly reduces speed for 2 rounds. You can use Cleave, which against one enemy deals 48% physical damage. Or you can go with Giant Slayer, which the commander's damage against large units are increased, which later on in a video, I do use this. If you do see them moving slow and they're using trolls, I recommend putting it in this. But for the time being, I usually just throw it in cripple, because it's a bit of extra physical damage and it reduces their speed, which is very useful. So this is my main skill build that I use with her. I used to do Shield Maiden, but it's only a 40% chance. It's a lot better to stick away from this and go with this build. This is definitely, by far, in my opinion, the best skill build for Eowyn, without an absolute doubt. The last thing we're going to talk about, guys, is troop setup. Very simple. All you want to do is use the Manish units. I've got it here. I've done some big battling. I've already pre-recorded the battles that you'll see coming up in a minute. I don't have many troops left, but I use the Cavaliers, which obviously have a really good, as you can see, with the buffs that we have, 37 to 45 damage, 84 HP and 94 defense. Our Cadders, which have 121 defense, mildly good damage with 29 to 38 and 96 HP. And then we have our Marshals that have 37 to 43 HP, 92 and 103 defense. So that is the troop setup you want to be running. Alright guys, so let's get into the PvP now, shall we? I've got a few battles for yous. Righto guys, so we've been testing out Eowyn after her builds and stuff like that, and she's doing quite well, I should say. If we have a look, we went up against a level 47 Grima, which had quite decent gear to say the least. Now Grima's really good at madness damage and stuff like that. But if we have a look at the battle statistics here, with our healing, we've taken less than 100,000 damage. About 91,000 damage compared to their 207,000. Yeah, Grima should be pretty strong, but we did quite well there. We did get in a draw after that. We just got in another battle right now. Let's have a look and see how we did. So we went up against another Grima here. Okay, very interesting. So remember, guys, I was already injured. So this is a level 50 Grima with anti-cavalry and 2200 tier 4. I think we did quite well there, to say the least. Like, remember, we already were damaged by 100,000, so that's going to affect us a lot. And we still ended up doing 148,000 damage. And we took about 140,000 damage. So it was a clean exchange there, to say the least. That honestly was not too bad. I'm going to withdraw her and stuff like that. And we'll get back into the battles. But yeah, it's been all hell and chaos at the moment. It's been absolute chaos. But yeah, I'm trying to get some battles in there with Eowyn and see how she does. Rightio, guys. I promised that there would be a battle of Eowyn versus Witchking. I have worked it out. A huge shout out to, get ready for it, the Legend 27. He's heading right now. Yes, I am. So we're going to be testing out one of her skill builds. This is going to be a build that's going to help really well against trolls and such. If I give you an example right now, if I go to the portrait, this is the skill setup I'm running. It's going to give me extra damage that Eowyn's dealt, including normal attack damage. I've also got extra damage against giant slayers. We've also got basically our Rahirim here and everything. But we're pretty much ready to rock and roll her in just a second. So in about 3 minutes, we'll be getting this battle because we're both here. So let me just keep talking about this build. So, of course, we always run White Lady of Rohan. It's going to help us recover, as well as extra recovery. And then we have men damage will give plus 21%. So that's going to be an extra stack as well. 14%. I usually run Shield Maiden, which 40% chance of reducing physical damage by up to a certain percentage. And then I usually put a few points into attack vitals. But because I'm versing Witchking, I think that Eowyn's extra damage, including the normal attack damage buff of 20% and some extra damage against Giant Slayer, because they usually run trolls, is pretty good. Alright, my thing's already ready to go, so let's go, shall we? Let's see how this is going to end up going. It's a Witch King, so yeah, I'm probably gonna, if we can somehow draw, I would be super happy if we could draw, but, we're probably gonna get walloped, but I want to see how the lore goes. Like, we got that anti-stun and everything like that, so it's gonna be, We drew. That's very nice to see. Let's have a look here. Okay. This is pretty decent. Okay. This is very, very decent. Okay, Eowyn, I'm impressed. Okay. 232,000 damage against Witchking. We took 300,000, but we also healed 60,000. So we took about 240,000 damage. I am very happy with these results. He is level 47, so take that into account a little bit. Let's have a look at his gear. Okay, his gear is pretty decent. It's not an absolute whale. Like, this is like a decent... Okay, this is a pretty decent battle. Like, it's not a super OP whale Witch King. So, it lets us look at the true value of how this works. So, I'm going to pretty much call that a near even battle. That is really good. Like, these warlords are really strong. Like, look at the damage, HP. They are extremely good. The normal attack damage ignores 50% of the target's defense. Normal attacks both a melee unit and range units when applicable and deals 100% damage. They're extremely good. I have to admit, this is really good. Now, my gear, which you would have seen when we were doing the build setup on that earlier, my gear is really good. But it shows that Eowyn is an extremely good tier 1. And I'm very impressed. To be honest, I thought I was going to get knocked out. This is by far one of the best hits I've done on Witch King without using like insane OP Gandalf the Greys and that. I am very happy with these results. Now, if he was level 50, I probably would have taken probably another 20 to 30,000 damage. Of course, he was running his Alchemist and everything. Like, you can't say that was an extremely good troop combination that I went up against. 1,600 tier 4, 3,000 Alchemists, and 60 tier 3 Trolls. That's a really good troop combination. As well, very highly skilled as well, including doing a lot of burn damage and stuff like that. Of course, he had the initiative. He had pretty much an excellent setup, so to say. Yeah, so I'm very impressed with those results, guys. Eowyn does not too bad. Like I said, if he was level 50 and stuff like that, I did have better gear. But you guys know Witch King usually just wallops nearly everything in one hit. So that is a very, very decent battle. I'm very happy with that, guys. But yeah, just remember, I'm going to back off. I'm not going to kill... we're not going to let it finish. But this was the build that we used. Remember, guys? I saw that he was marching slower, so I went with this build over the Shield Maiden, which would have gave us a percentage chance of reducing physical damage. So, for example, if I show you this now, you probably would have seen this earlier, but if I just max this and show you, so it's only a 40% chance. That's why I don't like it too much, because there's a 60% chance this ain't even going to work. So I think the best option is definitely to go with this build that I showed earlier in the video. But yeah, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm very happy with those results. I hope you guys like using Eowyn. I think she is definitely up there with Dwalin and Haldir as the best tier 1. But yeah, until next time, guys, peace out, EJ's out, and I'll catch us later. See yous.
Thousands songs of the EJU army. Yeah, you guys are legends to me. So let's keep up this grind. I'll never give up, just like